Paralyzed woman saved the millionaire's daughter. He knelt down and said, "Marry me." Hello everyone and welcome back to Romance Rewind Stories. Before we dive into today's incredible story, I have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying these heartwarming tales, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our latest uploads. It's quick, it's free, and it's the best way to support us in bringing you more emotional romance stories. And here's something I'd love to know. Where are you watching from today? Drop your city or country in the comments below. I always enjoy seeing our amazing community from around the world. Oh, and if this story touches your heart, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps us grow and reach more people who love these kinds of tales. Now, let's get into today's story. Paralyzed woman saved the millionaire's daughter. He knelt down and said, "Marry me." The autumn air was crisp as Thessaly Morgan wheeled herself through the crowded downtown plaza. Her arms were strong from 3 years of navigating the world on wheels, each push of her chair a small act of defiance against the drunk driver who had stolen her ability to walk. At 28, she had learned to build a new life from the ruins of her old one. She worked remotely as a graphic designer, lived in a modest ground-floor apartment, and had made peace with the stares that followed her everywhere. Most days she felt invisible. Other days she felt like all anyone could see was the chair. Today was supposed to be simple. Pick up art supplies from the craft store, grab coffee, go home. But life had other plans. Thessaly was waiting at the crosswalk when she heard it. A child's laughter, bright and carefree, followed by the terrifying sound of small feet running into the street. She turned her head sharply to see a little girl, no more than 5 years old, chasing a red balloon directly into traffic. A delivery truck was barreling down the road, the driver's attention fixed on his phone. Time slowed to a crawl. Without thinking, Thessaly launched her wheelchair forward with all her strength. Her arms burned as she pushed harder than she ever had, wheels spinning fast across the pavement. She reached the little girl just as the truck's horn blared. Grabbing the child by her jacket, Thessaly yanked her backward with one arm while using the other to stop her chair's momentum. They tumbled together onto the sidewalk, the little girl landing safely on top of Thessaly as the truck screeched past, missing them by inches. The balloon floated away into the sky, forgotten. For a moment, there was only the sound of heavy breathing and the little girl's quiet whimpers. Then came the screaming. "Luna!" A man burst through the crowd, his expensive suit jacket flying open, his face drained of color. He dropped to his knees beside them, his hands shaking as he reached for the little girl. "Luna, baby, are you okay? Are you hurt?" His voice cracked with terror. The child, Luna, was crying but nodding. "I'm okay, Daddy. The lady saved me." She was so fast. The man's eyes finally landed on Thessaly, who was still on the ground, her wheelchair tipped on its side a few feet away. His expression shifted from relief to shock to something deeper, gratitude so profound it looked like pain. He started, his voice breaking. "You saved her! Oh God, you saved my daughter!" Thessaly tried to sit up, wincing. "Is she okay? That's all that matters. I'm Desmond Thorne." Bye. He was already moving, righting her wheelchair with surprising gentleness. "Please, let me help you. Are you hurt?" "I'm fine," Thessaly said, though her shoulder throbbed where she'd hit the pavement. "Just help me back into my chair." Desmond lifted her as if she weighed nothing, settling her carefully into her wheelchair. His hands were steady now, his touch respectful but concerned. Up close, she could see he was handsome in that polished, powerful way, sharp cheekbones, dark eyes that held both intelligence and warmth, and a jawline that suggested he was used to getting what he wanted. Luna clung to her father's neck, still crying softly, but when she looked at Thessaly, her tear-stained face broke into a smile. "You're like a superhero. You went so fast." Despite everything, Thessaly laughed. "Well, I've had a lot of practice with this chair." "I don't know how to thank you," Desmond said, his voice thick with emotion. "My daughter is everything to me. If something had happened, he couldn't finish the sentence. "She's safe," Thessaly said firmly. "That's what matters." A crowd had gathered, people whispering and recording on their phones. Desmond noticed, and his expression hardened. "We need to get out of here before this turns into a circus. Please, let me take you to a hospital. You need to be checked out." "I'm really okay. Please." The word was almost a plea. "Let me do." There was something in his eyes, a desperation that went beyond gratitude. So Thessaly nodded. Desmond's car was parked illegally nearby, a sleek black Range Rover with tinted windows. His driver appeared instantly, helping load Thessaly's wheelchair into the back, while Desmond settled Luna in her car seat and then insisted on helping Thessaly into the passenger seat himself. At the hospital, doctors confirmed what Thessaly already knew. She was bruised but fine. Desmond stayed the entire time, Luna falling asleep in his arms in the waiting room. When the doctor released Thessaly, she found him pacing outside, still holding his sleeping daughter. "Thank God," he breathed when he saw her. "I was so worried." "I told you I was fine," Thessaly said, wheeling toward him. "You didn't have to wait." "Yes, I did." He shifted Luna gently. "I owe you everything. There has to be something I can do. Name anything at all." Thessaly studied him carefully. She'd learned to read people over the years, and what she saw in Desmond Thorne wasn't the arrogance of wealth or the condescension she'd come to expect. She saw genuine gratitude, and underneath that, something that looked like loneliness. "You can tell me your story," she said simply. "I told you mine when the doctor asked about my chair." Fair trade. Something flickered in his expression. Surprise, maybe relief. "That's all you want?" "That's all I want." They went to a quiet cafe near the hospital. Desmond ordered hot chocolate for Luna when she woke up and coffee for himself and Thessaly. As they sat in a corner booth, Luna coloring on napkins, he told his story. He was the founder of Thorne Industries, a tech company worth hundreds of millions. He'd built it from nothing, working 100-hour weeks, sacrificing everything for success. 3 years ago, his wife had died suddenly from an aneurysm, leaving him alone with a 2-year-old daughter and a company that demanded constant attention. "I thought I could do both," he said, his voice hollow. "Be a father and a CEO. But the truth is, I'm failing at both. I hired the best nanny money could buy, but today was supposed to be my day with Luna. We were going to the park, just us. Then I got a call from the office and I turned around for 1 second. His hands clenched around his coffee cup. 1 second, and she ran into the street. "But she's safe," Thessaly reminded him gently. "You can't change what happened. You can only change what comes next." "How did you learn to be so wise?" he asked, meeting her eyes. "Therapy," she said with a small smile. "Lots and lots of therapy after my accident. You learn pretty quickly that beating yourself up doesn't change anything. You just have to keep moving forward." She gestured to her chair. "Literally, in my case." Luna looked up from her drawing. "Do you live in your chair?" "Luna," Desmond started, embarrassed. "It's okay," Thessaly said. "Yes, sweetie. I use my chair to get around because my legs don't work anymore. But that doesn't mean I can't do things. I still work, I still have friends, I still have adventures. I just do them differently." Luna considered this seriously. "Can you draw?" "I like to draw." "I love to draw," Thessaly said. "It's actually my job." The little girl's eyes went wide. "Really? That's the best job ever?" They spent the next hour with Luna, showing Thessaly her drawings, while Desmond watched with an expression that grew softer by the minute. When Luna finally yawned, announcing she was sleepy, Desmond checked his watch and looked startled. "I can't believe it's been 3 hours," he said. "I should get you home. Where do you live?" Thessaly gave him her address, expecting him to call her a cab. Instead, he insisted on driving her himself, Luna already dozing in her car seat. When they reached her modest apartment building, Desmond helped her with her chair again, and this time Luna woke up enough to give Thessaly a sleepy hug. "Will we see you again?" the little girl asked. "I want to show you more drawings." Thessaly's heart melted. I'd like that. Desmond pulled out his phone. May I have your number? I'd like to check on you tomorrow. Make sure you're really okay. And he hesitated. Luna would love to see you again, if you're willing. There was something vulnerable in the way he asked, as if he expected rejection. Thessaly found herself nodding before she'd really thought it through. That night, lying in bed, she replayed the day in her mind. She'd saved a child. She'd met a millionaire who looked at her like she was a person, not a tragedy. And for the first time in 3 years, she felt like maybe her life wasn't as small as she'd convinced herself it was. The text came the next morning. It's Desmond. Luna wants to know if you're free for lunch tomorrow. She's been drawing pictures for you all morning. No pressure, just a thank you lunch. I promise not to make it weird. Thessaly smiled at her phone and typed back, only if I can see the pictures. What time? That lunch turned into dinner the following week. Then a visit to an art museum where Desmond pushed her chair through the galleries while Luna held her hand and asked 1,000 questions. Then a Sunday afternoon in the park where they flew kites and ate ice cream. Carefully, something shifted between Thessaly and Desmond. He started calling her for advice about Luna, about life, about everything. She found herself looking forward to his texts, to the sound of his voice, to the way he never treated her chair as something to work around. It was just part of her, like her laugh or her talent for drawing. One evening, a month after they'd met, Desmond invited her to his house for dinner. Thessaly had expected something formal and cold, but instead found a warm, lived-in home filled with Luna's artwork and family photos. After dinner, while Luna played in the next room, Desmond poured wine and sat across from Thessaly at the kitchen table. I need to tell you something, he said, his voice serious, and I don't want you to feel pressured or obligated in any way. Thessaly's heart started racing. I'm falling in love with you, he said simply. I've been falling since the moment you risked your life for my daughter. But it's more than gratitude. It's the way you listen when I talk. The way you never make excuses or accept mine. The way Luna lights up when she sees you. The way I feel like I can breathe properly for the first time since my wife died. Thessaly's throat tightened. Desmond, let me finish, he said gently. I know this is complicated. I have a daughter, a demanding career, and a life that's probably too chaotic for anyone to want to join. And I know that you've built a life that works for you, and I would never ask you to change that. But I have to tell you how I feel, because pretending otherwise is making me crazy. For a long moment, Thessaly couldn't speak. She'd told herself this was friendship, that someone like Desmond Thorne would never see her as anything more than the woman who saved his daughter. But looking at him now, seeing the vulnerability in his eyes, she realized she'd been lying to herself. I'm scared, she whispered, scared that this won't work. That you'll realize I can't do all the things a normal girlfriend could do, that my chair will become an inconvenience instead of just part of who I am. Desmond moved his chair closer, taking her hands in his. You want to know what I see when I look at you? I see the strongest person I've ever met. I see someone who launches themselves into traffic to save a stranger's child. I see an artist, a friend, someone who makes my daughter laugh and makes me want to be a better man. Your chair, it's just the thing that carries you. It's not who you are. Tears spilled down Thessaly's cheeks. You really mean that? Every word. She leaned forward and kissed him, soft and tentative at first, then deeper as he pulled her close. It was her first kiss since the accident, and it felt like coming home to a place she'd never been. Over the next 6 months, they built something beautiful. Desmond made sure his house was fully accessible, installing ramps and widening doorways without ever making it seem like a big deal. Thessaly became a regular presence in Luna's life, helping with homework and art projects, reading bedtime stories. They were becoming a family. But Thessaly couldn't shake her fears. She'd catch Desmond looking at her sometimes with an expression she couldn't read. Worry? Doubt? She started pulling back slightly, convincing herself she was protecting both of them from inevitable heartbreak. One Saturday, Desmond asked her to come to the park where they'd first had lunch together. When she arrived, she found him there with Luna, but something was different. They both looked nervous. "What's going on?" Thessaly asked, her heart pounding. Desmond took a deep breath, then did something that made her gasp. He knelt down on both knees, lowering himself to her eye level in her wheelchair. "Thessaly Morgan," he said, his voice shaking slightly. "9 months ago, you saved my daughter's life. But you did something else too. You saved mine. You showed me that I'd been living half a life, hiding behind work and fear. You showed Luna what real courage looks like. And you showed me what love can be when you stop trying to control everything and just let yourself feel." Luna giggled and held up a small box. "You're scared," Desmond continued. "I know you are. You're worried that I'll wake up one day and realize this is too hard. But Thessaly, loving you isn't hard. It's the easiest thing I've ever done. What's hard is imagining my life without you in it. What's hard is watching you pull away because you don't believe you deserve this happiness." Tears were streaming down her face now. He took the box from Luna and opened it, revealing a simple, elegant ring. "I'm not asking you to change. I'm not asking you to be anything other than who you are. I'm asking you to let me love you, chair and all, for the rest of our lives. Marry me, Thessaly. Make us a family, please." Luna bounced excitedly. "Please say yes. I already drew pictures of the wedding." Thessaly laughed through her tears, looking between Desmond's hopeful face and Luna's eager one. All her fears seemed suddenly small compared to the love she saw in their eyes. "Yes," she whispered. Then louder, "Yes!" Desmond slipped the ring on her finger and kissed her while Luna cheered. People in the park started applauding, having gathered to watch the proposal. Later, as they sat on a bench, Luna between them, Thessaly's wheelchair parked beside Desmond, he took her hand. "I have one more thing to tell you," he said. "Remember how I said I was CEO of Thorn Industries? Yes? I've been stepping back, promoting my COO to take over day-to-day operations. I've spent the last 3 years drowning in work, and I'm done. I want to be present for Luna. And for you. I want to actually live my life instead of just surviving it." Thessaly squeezed his hand. "You don't have to do that for me." "I'm not doing it for you," he said seriously. "I'm doing it for me. You just help me realize what actually matters." The wedding was 6 months later, held in the same park where he'd proposed. Thessaly wore a dress she'd designed herself, and they'd built a ramp leading to the altar decorated with flowers. When the officiant asked if anyone objected, Luna shouted, "I don't! I want Tessie to be my mommy!" sending waves of laughter through the crowd. In her vows, Thessaly said, "You knelt down to meet me where I was, not just physically but emotionally. You saw me when I felt invisible. You loved me when I didn't think I deserved it. And you showed me that real strength isn't about standing on your own 2 feet. It's about knowing when to let someone stand with you." Desmond's vows were simpler. "You saved my daughter. You saved me. You saved us. Now let me spend the rest of my life showing you that you saved yourself too. You just needed someone to remind you how extraordinary you've always been." Years later, Thessaly would tell their story to Luna's younger siblings. Yes, they'd had 2 more children through surrogacy, with Thessaly's doctor's full support. She'd tell them about the day their father knelt in the grass and asked her to marry him. About how love isn't about perfect bodies or perfect circumstances. It's about finding someone who sees you completely and chooses you anyway. And sometimes, late at night, Desmond would wheel her to their bedroom window where they could see the city lights. And he'd kneel beside her chair the way he had that day in the park and whisper, "Still the best decision I ever made." "Proposing?" she'd ask. "No," he'd say, kissing her hand, "letting you save us." And that's where our story ends today. What did you think? Did Thessaly and Desmond's journey touch your heart? Let us know in the comments what your favorite moment was. If you enjoyed this story, we have so many more waiting for you. Check out our playlist for more heartwarming romance tales that will make you believe in love all over again. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and give us a thumbs up. Your support means everything to us. Until next time, keep believing in love, keep believing in second chances, and remember, the best stories are the ones that remind us we all deserve our happily ever after. See you in the next story.